can't see her. You gotta back it up a bit. Back it up to you. Oh, we're live. How exciting. Waiting for... That's good. Maybe laying a little more so we're not watching just the top. There you go. Well, kind of. You can't see her when she's down here. Guys, I swear she's right here. There she is. There she is. That's Benny. Give a few minutes, let everybody get on. What up, YouTube world? Benny's giving you guys the eye. She's looking at you. Aren't you, baby girl? That's my good girl. You're such a good girl. Go ahead. You can eat your food. You can eat. Go ahead. You see that pretty looking iguana looking at you, you beautiful girl? Alright guys, we're going to get started here in just a minute. Tonight I believe we are talking about iguanas, which are my favorite lizard. So I brought my favorite iguana of all times, Miss Benni. She's going to join us for this talk. And I'm going to see if we can actually angle this or move this around so that you can actually see her a little bit better. Maybe we can tip it up a little bit more bit. So that way we can actually see Benni. And that's my daughter in the other room asking for something if anybody had a question about that. So today we're going to talk about iguanas. We're going to talk especially about green iguanas. And y'all might remember green iguanas. They were kind of the popular thing in the late 90s, early 2000s. And everybody does videos about their terrible animals for pets. Or maybe not terrible, they're really difficult animals for pets. And they're fantastic pets. But they're super high maintenance. So I'm going to go over a little bit of what I think and what I do when I keep iguanas. Just so you know about us, if you guys aren't familiar, my name's Nate. This is Morphs Milestones. So we are a nonprofit organization. We rescue and rehab. So we also take surrenders. We take in iguanas, snakes, turtles, tortoises, any reptile that we can facilitate taking care of. We do whatever we can for them. If they need medical treatment, they get medical treatment. If it's just conditioning, if it's just getting used to being around other people, we do that as well. We get them up to health, and then we go ahead and we put these guys out. And what I mean by putting them out is we find them homes or we use them in our therapy program. We do therapy and educational work with rescue and rehabilitated reptiles. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and talk about green iguanas and how amazingly awesome they are. So this is Benni. She is some years old, nobody really knows, and she's a green iguana. You might notice by the front of her, she has a little bit of a very special looking face, and that's because the very first rescuer that opened their home and their heart to her, a wonderful, wonderful person named Taylor, who did great work with her, when she got her, Miss Benni apparently was living in an attic in a bird cage, and she had really bad mouth rot. So she had super bad mouth rot. You can also notice right around here, she's missing a bunch of her little spikes that come up, those modified scales, and you'll see it as she turns throughout the video. So she has a remnant or scarring remnants of where she was burned, as well as Benni has a regen tail. You can see it from here all the way back. And Benni is an absolute doll. She's absolutely wonderful. So let me give you a little information, if I could, on what you might want to think about before you go ahead and you invest in a green iguana. Green iguanas live about 20 years, guys. You can find estimates anywhere on the interweb, on the Google machine, from 15 years old all the way up to 30 years old. But the long short of it is 20 years is pretty much a sweet spot. So when you're getting an iguana, you basically think, okay, I'm getting at least 2 dogs. It's 2 dogs lifetime on the regular. Whoa, we're tipping there. As far as age expectancy. So when you're getting an iguana, you have to say, hey, what am I going to do with this animal in 20 years? We actually have one in the other room that we're working with right now. His name is Brady. I think Brady is about 15 years old. He's a big male iguana, and unfortunately, his owner passed away. And his owner clearly loved Brady because he is a great, great guy. But there wasn't a plan in place for after he did pass. So when you are looking at an iguana or a green iguana, you might want to think, oh, we got peas on the table, guys. That is iguana jelly beans. It is amazing. Um, so when you're getting one of them, you want to make sure you think about it a little bit and think about, hey, how long do I plan to be able to support this animal and take care of its needs? Another important thing when it comes to green iguanas is, just quite frankly, the size it takes to put them in an enclosure. So green iguanas, oh, it stuck to my hand. Collards are better, peas are better, collards are better. So size, I have a general rule of thumb, and this is for partial housing. And what I mean by partial housing is, when you have a lizard that gets this big, as big as some of these guys, you're going to have to let it walk around your house, walk around the room you have it in. I know temperature is a key. That's a really important thing. But you're not going to keep it in this enclosure all the time. You're going to have to iguana-proof your house or the area a little bit. So for sizing, I take their length, so their overall length from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail, and I say 1.5 that distance wide, 1.5 that distance high, and usually 0.75 deep. So if you got a little 4-foot iguana like Miss Benni is pretty much right there, you're going to need 6 foot tall, 6 foot wide, and about 3 feet deep. That's going to be ideal for housing them part of the time. Also, for their enclosure, you're going to need UVB. You're going to need special lighting. So we're talking mercury vapor bulbs and fluorescent UVB bulbs, UVA-B bulbs. They like having a hot spot somewhere around 90 to 95, which is really awesome. So you want to be able to have a really warm spot, and I recommend putting that at the top of the enclosure. And you're going to want something for them to climb. I love cork bark. It's amazing. They can dig their nails into it. They can go ahead, climb up, wear them down a little bit, but they can go ahead, they can get to the top, and as they drop down in height, the temperature will have a variant. So instead of just being one temperature all the time, they're going to be able to pick what's good for them. In Benni's enclosure, she has that kind of setup. Several pieces of cork bark. She's also got a really good sized water bowl underneath, and she has a shelf in the middle, which gives her an extreme basic variant. So she likes the difference in temperature. Benni also likes to use dog pads to go to the bathroom. She gets very grumpy if she doesn't have them. That's her favorite thing to do. But they love being clean too. So you're going to want to keep them clean all the time, and the bigger the enclosure, the easier it is to keep them clean. It's kind of like fish tanks. The more space you have, the easier it is to maintain. So we've kind of gone over the size requirements, which are quite extensive. One, they're going to need a good portion of your house, and they're also going to need a really large area for them to climb. And in your house, you're probably going to want to get something like a cat tree, or get some boards and put them together and wrap them in ropes so they can climb up. By the way, she loves the vegetables, she loves peas, and she loves the water that comes with vegetables, guys. So this is Benni doing her thing, being as beautiful as always. So we need a big size enclosure. We need the right temperature on our enclosure. We need to be ready to take care of an animal for 20 to 25, 30 years. And then on top of that, we got the diet. If you notice, she's eating collard greens. She's got some peas. Majority of their diet, when they do get larger, they are herbivores, which means they like they're veggie-phores or veggie eaters. I think that's from Jurassic Park. So you're going to want to make sure you give them plenty of dark leafy greens. Not the light stuff, not the water-based stuff. You want to give them something with good nutrients. You can also feed them things like tortoise chow, which is really good for them, and they can have some fruits. They can have some fruits and different vegetables like cucumbers, stuff like that. What happened, Mama?
She sees herself.
Benni just saw herself, and she didn't necessarily love it. I think you're beautiful. You shouldn't worry about that. You're absolutely gorgeous. You have your eye open towards me and closed towards the screen. See, it won't do a thing to you. They're primarily vegetarians. Benni is a super cool cat. Most of our lizards are. They're all like this, where they come out and chill. So to see that, that's why you heard me and Brenda laugh. That is hysterical. It was more she was nervous. But primarily vegetarians, mostly greens. When they are babies, they will eat some insects. They'll get a little basis of that and need a little bit more of the crude protein and stuff like that. But as they get older, they get most of that from the vegetation that they do have. After that, you got your food, and a really good supplement for them also in captivity is they love tortoise chow. I got a tortoise room upstairs, and it's full of redfoot tortoises, and she loves jumping right there in the middle of them, grabbing her food, going up on top of their hide box, and just eating it. So tortoise chow can have some good nutrients, and that's true for other types of iguanas as too. Spiny tails can have some of that, and from what I know, different like the Cubans, the Cyclura species, those guys can eat some of that as well. After you get that, so you got a lot of food, you're going to have a lot of what's left over from the food to clean up, and they need a lot of space. But what you're going to get is an absolutely gorgeous animal, right? A big, gorgeous animal like Benny. Benny's a little bit stunted. She had a rough life, but you're going to have a big animal. And with a big animal comes a big mouth. And what I mean by a big mouth is they have a lot of teeth. And so people can tend to be intimidated by them a little bit. They can, cause a little bit of discomfort if they do bite you because they are larger animals. But when you're working with these guys, it's all about conditioning. It's all about taking the time, letting them understand that you're not going to hurt them, that you're just there to be with them, to take care of them, to show them nothing but love and affection. And they'll become just like her. Absolutely beautiful and wonderful. Go ahead, you can get the piece. So a big thing with working with lizards, and I guess that's what this whole talk was supposed to be. Guys, I'm so sorry you had to listen to my foolishness, is conditioning animals, conditioning large lizards, conditioning iguanas. I'm going to stop her from dropping the peas on the ground. I got my finger actually in here. If Brenda tilted down, you can see. And yeah, there's nothing wrong there. Benny is just a sweetheart of a girl. So a lot of it is putting yourself in these places, putting yourself in the place where those are treats for later, young lady. She's eating blueberries. Putting yourself in a place where you can be calm, confident, be around the animal, and teach the animal that nothing's bad's going to happen to it. From my experience, reptiles are not an animal that you necessarily want to train or handle or condition by saying no. The word no doesn't go so well with reptiles. To stand calm, sturdy, that goes well. I have a good friend, and he says, be the tree, be the tree, be the tree. So you want to be the tree. Trees don't move. That's why I tell children when we go see them and they end up holding or experiencing the ambassadors, that's one of the things I say, hey, what do trees do? They don't move. Just big, comfortable, just there. And they'll respect you. You don't have to be forward. It's okay to be nervous once in a while when you start working with them. But if you can stay pretty calm, pretty relaxed around them, you'll see them get really calm and really relaxed. So, and the other part of it is doing little things like letting them smell you. Benny comes by, she licks our hand, she checks us out, we feel her, we pet her, we touch her around her face. Even when she's in shed right now, if you guys couldn't notice. So she's deep in shed. And even then, now that's a behavior right there. She doesn't necessarily love this, but she tolerates it very well. And she's just so used to and so habituated to us touching her and children being able to touch her that it doesn't bother her at all. There's that little eye peeking out. So you'll notice my tone of voice. I'm very calm. I'm very relaxed. I'm not overly calm. I still have some pretty standard movements. I move around because you don't want to baby them once they get used to you. You want them to understand that some things in the world actually move fast. Look at that, all her little spines, they're getting ready to shed. They're almost like a silver look. But that's really all there is to it, guys. Be calm, confident, caring. If you're going to get an iguana, if you're going to get a large lizard, whether it be a tegu, we have one of those, monitor lizard, anything like that, make sure you love it. Make sure you're obsessed with it. Because if you are, that'll lead you to having patience. I love everything. But if you have patience with the animal and you just love being around it and being amongst it, you'll do that. You'll take her out on a regular basis. That's a little bit Benny sound. What do they call that? Those sounds? What do they call those on the videos?
ASMR.
Yeah, ASMR. If you're obsessed with reptiles, if you love reptiles, that's the kind of person that needs to have a larger lizard. Something like an iguana, sailfin, fin dragons, those seem to be getting really popular. Any type of monitor lizard, or any large lizard, caiman lizard, anything like that, tegu. You have to absolutely love these animals and want to spend time with them, because that, like I said, that'll lead you to spend time with them. You'll be calm and confident because you'll want to be close to them, be next to them, and you'll have a very well-adjusted animal, just like Benny here. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, any concerns, or anything you want to talk about, anything that particular you want to see, just let us know, and we'll go ahead and we'll do that. We're going to start doing Morphs Mondays again. I know we fell off for a while. Next time, I think we're going to do some North American snakes that are really cool. But let us know in the comments what you like, and we'll take care of it next time. Guys, thank you so much for your support. We love you guys. Keep life emotional and exciting, and we'll see you on the next one. See you next Monday, guys. Bye. Benny's going to drink her water.